Ladies and gentlemen, may I present, for your intellectual and philosophical pleasure, the creature.
Chad Chili, you've got questions. I've got a plan to get you shredded. So, continue with my buddy Sam here, who asked me, Chad, how do I get shredded without losing my muscle? I gave you guys a little bit of an explanation on the ketogenic diet, gave you an idea how you might implement a ketogenic diet. Now I'm going to give you a real world example of how you can actually use this and follow it. So what I'm going to talk about today is called the steak and eggs diet. If you're a Vince Gironda fan, you may already know this. Also, I think this was covered in a blog called Bold and Determined. I talked a little bit about Vince Gironda, but really what I'm talking about today is a little bit of bro science. And I don't want to knock it too much either, because it's bro science that's actually good. So in the steak and eggs diet though, there's a couple things I want to hit real quick. First off, this diet is boring. Really boring. I love steak and eggs. Hell, I love meat and anything. But steak and eggs is a favorite of mine, and if I was to eat nothing but steak and eggs every day for 3 meals a day for a month, I think at a certain point I actually would start to get a little bit bored of steak and eggs. You know, you can of course get creative with it. You can start throwing some spices in and stuff like that, but at the same time, at a certain point, you're just eating steak and eggs over and over and over again. So I won't bullshit you. It is a boring diet, but this diet works. It's a trade-off. It's a very boring diet, but it definitely works, and it works well. You're going to preserve muscle, you'll gain muscle, you'll lose fat. It's actually a very effective diet. I've done it myself many times, and I can't say enough good things about it, because even my blood work improved, my LDL went down, my HDL went up, just all kinds of awesome stuff. My VLDL was almost nothing. I mean, it was amazing. So testosterone levels boosted, my testosterone level went way up. It's a really good diet. It's a really, really good diet, but it is boring, it's repetitive, and sometimes you just want something psychologically different. I mean, some days you get home, you're just like, man, I could just go for pork chops, but you're not going to have pork chops because you're on the steak and eggs diet. And this diet is simple. That's another one. This diet's really, really simple, which is nice. You don't have to think about it. Hey, what am I having for breakfast today? Steak and eggs. Hey, what am I having for lunch today? Steak and eggs. What am I having for dinner today? Steak and eggs. There's no thinking. You don't have to play that game of, well, what do you want for dinner? I don't know. What do you want? What do you want for dinner? I don't know what you want. You already know what you're eating. Simple rules here though. You're going to eat 1.5 to 2 pounds of steak a day. Easy, right? Maybe you might eat a little bit more if you're a bigger person than me. I eat about 2 pounds of steak. About a pound of steak is roughly 1,000 calories. So, and I always choose fatty cuts. Definitely choose fatty cuts because you want the fat. So choose fatty cuts. I usually get like grass-fed, like chuck roast is a really good pick because it's marbleized and everything like that, and you can cook the whole thing up. That's what I do oftentimes. The day before I cook my meal. So I'll throw the chuck roast in, I'll cook that, just let it roast, and I've got a 2-pound chuck roast, and the next day I'll just cut it up into pieces, and I'll go ahead and just eat that throughout the day, and that day I'll cook my meal for the next day. And along with that, you're going to have 4 to 6 eggs a day. Myself, I usually eat 6 eggs just because I like eggs. So I'll usually take my 2 pounds, and I'll cut it into 3 even pieces, and then I'll have 2 eggs with each serving, and there you go. There's 3 meals of steak and eggs. And then once a week you're going to have 1 high carb meal. You're not going to have a carb day, you're not going to have a carb night, you're just going to have 1 super high carb meal. One of my buddies actually recommended to me that you just eat a can of apple pie filling. That sounds okay by me. I love apple pie. But honestly, you could probably pick any high carb thing that you like. I mean, if there's something you know you really enjoy, like, oh man, I just love red vines. That's my favorite kind of, red licorice. Boom, eat a whole bag of red vines. If you're like, man, Sour Patch Kids, they just do it for me. Boom, go get yourself a big bag of Sour Patch Kids, eat the whole fucking thing. Alright, but that is your 1 carb meal. You're not going to have a carb day where like, oh, you know what, I'm going to have waffles for breakfast, and then for lunch I'm going to go and I'm going to get myself a nice big sandwich on a bun, and then, you know what, for like dinner I'm going to get pasta, and then later I'm going to have ice cream. Fuck that. Okay, at that point, you're just blowing the diet altogether. You're just having a whole fucking cheat day. Don't do that. If you really want to get shredded, if you really want to get strong, you want to gain muscle and lose fat at the same time, steak and eggs diet. It's super simple. You can't fuck it up if you just stick to it. You're just going to eat steak and eggs and cook it in like butter or like rendered duck fat or coconut oil. Pick a good quality fat that you're going to cook it in. Okay, like the other day, I just threw like 4 tablespoons of butter into the pan and just let that melt, and then I literally just tossed my eggs right into that, and they're like floating in the butter. I mean, there's so much butter in the pan. The eggs are just, it's like making like poached eggs in butter. It was absolutely delicious. The eggs soaked it all up. I took my steak, I cut it up into small pieces, and I tossed that in there and mixed it all together, and I had this fantastic meal of steak and eggs, but it was like soaked in butter. So you're getting all that good fat in there. And this is basically a ketogenic diet. I mean, you're not eating carbohydrates. It may be a little high in protein, so your body will do a little bit of gluconeogenesis, so you will have some blood glucose. You're not going to be necessarily in ketosis the entire time. But that seems to be okay with this diet because it's high in fat, and so whenever your body produces that small amount of glucose and you're training hard, you burn that glucose up, and next thing you know, your body's back in ketogenesis, where your body's burning fat for energy. So basically, eat steak and eggs, and then once a week, have a big high-carb meal. Pick something you enjoy. So that's all I got for you guys today, and next time we'll be talking about another variation of this diet. So, cool.
What's the matter with you people? I was joking! Don't you know a joke when you hear one?